And so finally we get to the cooling section where we have the ducts here. And we'll leave the water and the fire sections for later on. So as you know, we've explained some of the sewage sections, and now we'll do some parts of the cooling section so that we can complete these two later on and finish them completely. And after that, we can get to the next sections, which could be fire or heating or exhaust. And so we're progressing based on the priority level. But now let me go over here to the plan, to the 6th floor cooling duct plan. So we have a fan coil over here. Then for the vents that we have above it, we have 24 by 8. And then we go all the way up to here, and we have 3 openings in the middle. So as we showed in the previous files, you can copy the plan that we have right here and move it over. So for now, I'll hit Ctrl C to copy the plan that we have here. All right, and then I'll hit Ctrl N. Then on this window, I'll hit Open, and then Ctrl V and left click. And an important point that should be said here is just as we used a plugin named Sophistic in the structural sections and discussed how valuable it is, in the facilities part, we have a plugin named Magic CAD, which is incredibly useful as well. So M plus enter, then I'll select all of the plan. Then I'll zoom in here on the stairs that we have, and I'll select this point, Shift plus square, and put in double zeros. Then I'll delete the plan itself and leave these be. Now we can get rid of the text as well, simply by right click, then select similar, and then deleting them. There we go, and then we can get rid of these as well. None of these are necessary, so go ahead and delete them. Delete this one as well, and there we go. I'll type in UN, then hit enter, and I'll put the unit on meters. Then I'll type in PU plus enter, and I'll hit purge all as much as necessary. All right, and then after that, I'll hit Ctrl S to save it. And for the destination, we can go over here, the CAD folder and the mechanical folder, and I'll name the file cooling. All right, then we can save it. All right, now we can go back to the plan and let's see which level we were discussing. All right, it's this one right here. So zoom in on it and then right click here and select copy full file path. And then I'll do the same with the cooling as well. All right, delete this. And then we pull this over here and go to the Revit file. And here we can go to the level 6 that we will be planning. But before that, we need to make the structural plan of the plumbing section separately. So I'll select it from over here and then hit delete. And then I can go over to the View tab. Then open up the plan views and select the floor plan. And on the menu, I'll uncheck the Do Not Duplicate option. And then I'll open up the edit type and create a duplicate here, which I'll name HVAC. All right, then we can assign it a new template, which will be the mechanical plan. And make sure to put the subdiscipline on HVAC here as well. All right, we'll hit OK and OK here as well. Now I can select all of the floors that we have here and then hit OK to give them the new views. And now the levels should be added to the HVAC. All right, and now we have them here as you can see. And now we get to rename the levels for the HVAC section. So for the first one, I'll select it, and instead of the mechanical abbreviation that we have, I'll put an HVAC, and I'll edit the number as well. Then Ctrl C to copy HVAC, and then we get to the other levels. All right, so for the next one, we have this level. Now it should be noted that we can use the dynamo in order to automatically rename the levels as well. All right, so then we have the next level here, and There we go, and then we get to the level 14,000, which we'll rename as well. All right, and we just have to keep doing that for the rest of the levels as well. So this one, and then the level 25,000, there we go, and then the next one, the 28,000, and then the last one over here, and we can be done with that. All right, hit no on this, and that's done. All right, so after that, we'll proceed over to the east view in the elevation section to see the plumbing in full detail and analyze it. We just have to see where this part goes. The sixth level is actually located right here. So we'll go over here, right click on it, and select the go to floor plan option. Alright, and then when the plan opens up, I can hit VV to open up the visibility graphics menu and then go over to the Revit links tab. Alright, let's go back to the important categories tab. Here I'll uncheck the CAD file that we have and hit OK. Alright, and there we go. After that, we can proceed to the Insert tab, and then here select the Link CAD tool, and in the browser menu that we have, we just have to find the CAD file that we've saved in the mechanical folder. Is right here, and we'll select it and then go over to the units and put this on meter, then select black and white for the color, auto origin, and then I'll hit open. And as you can see, this is where the part is located. All right, so first I'll close the plumbing and the HVAC plans as well. Then in the plan that we have here, I'll select this pipe up here and this part down here and hit a section box so we can see it in full detail. Now open this up, then move this over here, and then we open up the visibility graphics menu, and then go over to the Revit links tab and check the mechanical and the model files from here and hit OK. Now for the next part, we'll have to put a fan coil over here. Let's see where it is, right here. And then we get to the rest of the canal. So in order to make the canals, you can either use the duct tool that we have under the Systems tab. You can also use Fabrication. For the modeling of the canals of this project, we're going to use the Fabrication method. Well, because firstly, as you can see, the modeling of these parts has already been done. And because of that, we don't need to size up anything. And if you're actually a mechanical architect, you can use the ducts because they have some sizing and calculation options. And on the contrary, the fabrication part tool that we have here doesn't have any sizing abilities, and it's just basic modeling. That fact quickens up the modeling pace, and it can also give us interesting schedules such as the weight and the thickness of the paper. We're not saying that's not doable with docs, you just have to give it your own parameters, but the process is just easier with fabrication. So now we'll go over to the settings and select the Revit MEP from the fabrication configurations. Then I'll add the ductwork 1000 PA, and I'll hit OK to add the liable to the fabrication parts over on the right. Alright, now before we get to working with those, we'll have to first go to the mechanical equipment tool, and over here select the load family option. Then we'll have to find the fan coil that we've selected already and load up its family. So back out of this folder and it's here. I'll select it and move it over to the families of fan coils. Then I'll select it over here and hit open. Alright, now I'll place it right over here in the plan. Now we can select it here as well and go over to the Edit Family option where I can show you its different parts. So here you can see the fan coil in 3D viewing. Now, if you want to select an equipment and place it over here as we've done